Is Frieza the right man to be the 10th member of Team Universe 7 in the Tournament of Power? Now, as of right now, as we're recording this video, it is unconfirmed as to whether or not Frieza will stay on Team Universe 7, because there's been tons of rumors and leaks going around that Frieza may leave the team to go to Universe 4. Again, we don't know as of this recording exactly what's going to happen when it comes to Frieza, but it makes you wonder, is this Dragon Ball we're talking about or the NBA? I mean, is Frieza going to pull a Kevin Durant? Like, I don't even know what I'm watching anymore. But the topic of this video, of this discussion is Frieza the right choice to bring back to Dragon Ball Super and to be on this team? Now, I watched MasakoX do a very good video on his channel, which I'll link down below for you guys to watch, about whether or not Cell would be a better replacement or maybe somebody else. So on this video, I want to have a discussion with you guys and with my guest about Frieza and whether or not it's smart to have him come back business-wise and story-wise. So please welcome my guest on this video from Laughingstock Media. Say hello to Mike.
Hey guys, it's Mike here from Laughingstock Media. How's it going?
Yes, indeed. Now, Mike, you have read comics and watched movies your entire life, and the idea of characters coming back is something that comic books have done for centuries. I mean, forever. Yeah. Superman dies, Wolverine dies, everybody dies and comes back, it seems, and except for Uncle Ben. He never came back. Right? But the point is this. So, in movies and in TV shows, bringing characters back from the dead is not something that we see this frequent, with the exception of shows like anime and Dragon Ball. Especially when it comes to Frieza. Frieza has come back like 15 times. If you include GT, the movies, Resurrection F, he is constantly being brought back. Now, the topic we're going to talk about is, should Toei, or is it a good idea for Toei to have brought Frieza back? Or is it one of those things where they should have picked somebody else? Now, when we first heard that Frieza was coming back, a lot of people didn't like it. I saw a lot of comments all over the web, people saying, we don't want Frieza, we want Cell. Yeah. Right, or whatever, or somebody else. We don't want Yamcha, we want Boo. People were saying, and they made some very valid points. There were some good points, that Frieza's been brought back too many times. The thing is, though, last week's episode of Dragon Ball Super defeated One Piece in the ratings. I think it's at a 6.3. Very good rating for Dragon Ball Super. Defeated One Piece for the first time. The first time in the history of One Piece and Dragon Ball being on the air at the same time. Dragon Ball defeated One Piece, because One Piece has been Toei's big cash cow for years. So, Frieza, when he came back to Resurrection F, and for that film, that movie made a lot of money. So, is it fair to say that Frieza is a draw? Like, Frieza's like, I've always seen him as like the Joker of Dragon Ball, the main villain. Yeah. Is it fair to say that business-wise, he was the right guy to bring back?
I think that's a really good analogy you just made, comparing Frieza to the Joker, because when you think about it, whenever we have like a Batman story nowadays, everyone always wants to see the Joker in it. Everyone always wants to know, what's the Joker going to do? Who's going to play the Joker this time? You know, it's such a big, iconic role. Well, in the world of Dragon Ball, Frieza is basically like that Joker, or that Lex Luthor, or that iconic villain that kind of just has to be there. Or whenever he comes back, even if it's happened a bunch of times as it has happened, it's still a big deal, and those ratings really show it, as did the success of Resurrection F, which honestly, you know, we've talked about it before. Resurrection F could have potentially been an even bigger success, but that's a different story for another day. With Frieza's character, though, I don't think it matters too much that he's been brought back a bunch of times. What matters is how they execute it, and really like how they utilize Frieza once he's there, because you could bring back somebody and you can completely waste them, like Frieza was in like Fusion Reborn, Resurrection of Fusion, to
Revival of Fusion,
basically.
He was one-shotted by Gohan. It was a joke.
Yeah, pretty much.
And you could even say it was a joke in GT when he went to go fight him in Hell, because that was more of a goofy fight anyways, you know?
Yeah, base Goku was pretty much handling them, you know? It wasn't even close. So, if they now have Frieza coming in, but he's a big deal, he's on par with the big characters, he can actually do something, I don't really have any problem against it, even though I do understand why people want to see some of the other characters revived as well.
Well, I'm going to get to that in just a moment, but one thing I do want to tell people, and I'm sure most of you guys already know this, and that's that Frieza is the iconic villain of Dragon Ball. When Dragon Ball Z was blowing up in the United States and in Latin America, just those two countries, even though Latin America had the entire series, Frieza was always seen as like the iconic villain. When Falconer started to do the music for Dragon Ball, it was during the Frieza saga. When they brought back season 3 and they put out the VHS tapes with the uncut stuff, that was during the Frieza saga. When Sean Schemmel and Chris Sabat took over, that was the Frieza saga. So the Frieza saga, the arc of Frieza, is a very important arc when it comes to the North American Dragon Ball fan base. And the villain of Frieza, because he's been brought back so many times, is like the centerpiece character. He is responsible for everything that happened in the series. He's the one who he didn't know about Goku going to Earth, but, he blew up Planet Vegeta. We saw that in the Bardock special. We saw what happened with Goku. He set the events in motion indirectly, but his character and the Saiyans set the events in motion of what would be pretty much the entire series. Cells were of Frieza. So it's one of those things where Frieza is pretty much like the centerpiece villain of everything. And he is a very popular villain. But, Mike, here's the question. A lot of people have been saying, well, we've seen him come back too many times. Why not bring back Cell? Now, here's the reason why I'm bringing up Cell, because the difference between bringing Cell and Frieza back again is that with Frieza, he's been brought back 1,000 times. Cell, not so much. Cell's come back in some filler appearances and in GT. Yeah. We haven't seen him get his own movie. We haven't seen him, get his own, extra arc. None of that stuff. So, do you think it would be more fresh to bring back Cell versus Frieza? Or do you think that Cell's character is just not important or impactful enough to mean as much as Frieza? Because that's really the key here.
Well, the thing with Cell, I feel like, is also, you had that big boom and that growth of popularity in the United States with Frieza. But, I remember when Dragon Ball Z was, having its first real run in the United States, and we got to the Cell games, and we got to the Cell saga, and it was just exploding. Everyone was talking about, how big of a threat Cell is, how awesome Gohan's fight with him is, how awesome his fight with Goku is. So I feel like Cell definitely has a lot of popularity as well. He just hasn't been utilized to the degree that Frieza has, or really been associated as much with the series, I guess, overall. So when it comes to Cell, I feel like he has certainly a lot more variability. He has regeneration, he has all the techniques of the different Z fighters, he has Frieza's genes and Saiyan genes, so imagine how powerful he could become if he trained. He could very well surpass Frieza and everyone else we've seen in the series thus far. The only thing...
he could. Remember, one of our old videos was, can Cell go golden? We did that video, you and I, and it did a lot of views. That's the thing, is with those Saiyan genes and with Frieza's genes, if this guy were given more time or training with the gods, who knows how strong Cell could be?
But that's my point, and that's a good point, and that's also my point exactly. If there was more time, Cell could be even bigger and a bigger deal. But right now, there isn't any time, what time does Cell have to get powerful enough to be on the level of Goku or Vegeta or Gohan or 17 or even Piccolo at this point? Most of the Z fighters on this team could probably stomp Cell pretty easily, even as Super Perfect Cell. So ultimately, it comes down to the time. And I think that Frieza right now, if you need somebody ASAP to join your team because of how powerful they are, and because of how they could really help to tip the scales, I think Frieza is probably a better choice than Cell in that regard.
Now, some people are going to say that they want Pycon or one of the other World Tournament fighters or somebody from the movies, and I don't think and I've said this before, I don't believe that they're going to be pulling movie characters for Super. They might have little cameos of filler characters and little jokes like 18's Marin joke or, seeing people in the background from filler and Gregory. But I don't think they're going to be pulling movie characters or filler characters into Super. But again, I'm only saying that based on past history because Super could do anything. I just don't see them using Pycon. But that being said, Mike, okay, 2 questions for you before we wrap it up. If you were in charge of Super, would you have brought back Frieza or Cell? That's the first question. And the second question is, if between those two. And then if not, who would you have brought in to be the 10th member? Who do you think would be a cool storyline, a box office draw? Do you think Nappa would have worked out better? Or maybe he's too weak. Do you think Raditz would have worked out better? Who do you think would have been a good 10th member? Tao Pai Pai? I'm just saying, what do you think? But first, between Frieza and Cell, who do you think works out better financially and story-wise?
That's...
Because I think Frieza has more history with them. Way more.
I'm going to go with Frieza, but that is a very difficult question choice. Honestly, if they had more time, I would definitely say Cell, because Gohan is the leader of the team now. A lot of this stuff seems to be Gohan-centric. Just imagine, like, the dynamics of Gohan and Cell teaming up together, you know? We're going to get that with Goku and Frieza, which is also awesome, but I feel like it would be great if this is going to be kind of Gohan-centric, to have Gohan's greatest villain, the one who really put him over the best, you know? So I would pick him. But if I was in charge of Super and I had the choice to bring back somebody in place of Frieza, honestly, I've said this in the past, going back to Resurrection F, I would have had King Cold come back instead of Frieza, and, you know, like, and develop him more as a character, you know, because King Cold, I feel like, could have had, like, the same kind of heights, and he would have completely different dynamics than Frieza. But also, of course, if we're thinking...
But is he popular enough, though?
If we're thinking straight-up popularity, I'm going to say it, and I'm going to regret saying it, but maybe Bardock would be another choice, because, let's be honest, Bardock is a big draw. He's big in the video games. People always want to see Bardock interact with Goku. You know, they have the Time Breaker Bardock in Xenoverse, you know, so I guess that Bardock would possibly be, like, the big other person to bring back from the dead that would have, like, huge ratings and people would go crazy for, because he's really such a fan servicey character.
That is a huge thing. Yeah, they take some of that Time Breaker Bardock shit. You know what? You're right. You sold me. I think Bardock would be just as, maybe not as impactful as Frieza, but pretty damn close.
Yeah, people are so attached to the Bardock character, even though we haven't really seen him that much in the series proper, that I feel like if he actually was inserted into the main story again for a long period of time, people would, the internet would explode, I would say.
I think that would... Dude, I totally think that when they brought Trunks back, how it was on, like, Forbes.com, I do believe that, like, Bardock would be almost, maybe not as big, but almost as big. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think that Cell's a better choice than Frieza, both business-wise and story-wise? Not just your own personal bias. If you like Cell more, that's cool, but let me know what you guys think. Put your thinking caps on. Also, if it's not going to be one of those two guys, who else? Do you think Bardock would be better? Do you think somebody from Dragon Ball? Maybe Mutaito? I'm just throwing out random names like that. These are cool characters that we haven't seen in a long time. They already brought 17.
Yeah, drum, piano, cymbal.
Tambourine, bro. Then it would be Ryusei Nakao anyways getting paid.
The Boss Rabbit. That'd be pretty great. Turn everyone to a carrot and just chuck him over the side of the ring, assuming he doesn't eat them.
Well, Devilman, Spike the Devilman, or Devilman has the Devilmite beam. If you have any evil inside of you, it's going to kill you automatically. I think that'd be pretty damn useful, but you can't kill in a tournament, so what can you do?
That's true.
But you know what? You're right. Turn him into a carrot and throw him off the ledge. And that's it.
Tasty. The
most dangerous man in Dragon Ball. You know, of course, there is one other person we haven't even talked about. Arale. Arale would significantly be more powerful than Frieza, I think, at this point.
Yeah, but it'd be so one-sided at that point with Arale just eliminating literally everyone on the teams that it might be a little bit boring, but hey, it'd probably be fun for the 20 seconds it would last.
Yeah, let us know in the comments. Check out Mike from Laughingstock Media. How's it going? I'll leave a link to his channel and one of his videos down below. And thank you for being here.